I never knew silence could echo louder than a scream. That night it was deafening. My name's Ethan, 42, a quiet man by nature. I've never liked arguments or drama. I fix things for a living, engines, tools, machines, anything that works better with care and patience. But the one thing I couldn't repair was my marriage to Claire. Somewhere along the years, the little things that once kept us close, morning coffee, secret smiles, small inside jokes, turned into background noise we no longer heard. We'd been married for 12 years. Started strong like most love stories do. She was full of laughter and drive. The kind of woman who could brighten a room with just a few words. I used to think that spark was what made me fall in love with her. I didn't realize until much later that it would also be the thing that slowly drained me. The distance didn't appear overnight. It crept in quietly, disguised as busy schedules. I worked long hours to pay the bills. She chased promotions and deadlines. Date nights were postponed, then forgotten. Conversations became about groceries or payments. Somewhere in between, we stopped reaching for each other, not just physically but emotionally. I tried to mend what was left. Weekend getaways, surprise flowers, even a handwritten letter once. She smiled, said, "Thank you," then went back to her phone. Each effort left me feeling a little more empty. It all fell apart on a regular Wednesday. Funny how the biggest breaks come from the smallest moments. I came home early that evening. The house smelled like takeout, something she'd order when she didn't expect me home. She sat on the couch with her laptop, a half-finished glass of wine beside her. "Hey," I said softly, dropping my keys. She didn't look up. "You're home early?" "Yeah," I said. "Thought we could have dinner together." She sighed, quiet but heavy. "Ethan, I'm exhausted. Can we not do this tonight?" "Do what?" I asked, though I already knew where this was heading. She closed the laptop and looked at me, and for the first time I noticed how cold her eyes had become. "You always look like you're waiting for something from me. I can't keep pretending. I'm that person for you anymore." That line hit harder than any argument ever could. But it wasn't what broke me. What broke me came after. I asked, "Do you still love me, Claire?" She paused, and in that silence I already knew. "Still," she whispered, almost gently, "I love what we used to be." That was the sentence, the one that cracked something inside me. It wasn't cruel. It was worse. It was honest. And honesty, when there's nothing left to cling to, cuts deeper than any lie. I didn't yell, didn't plead, didn't argue with the ghost sitting across from me. I just nodded, like a man finally accepting a truth he's avoided for years. She said more after that, about space, about finding herself, but I barely heard it. My mind went quiet, like static, fading after a storm. I walked to the bedroom, opened the closet, and began packing. "Ethan," she said, standing up, "what are you doing?" I looked at her once, just once, and said, "You already found what you were looking for, Claire. It just isn't me." Then I zipped the bag, walked out, and didn't look back. I drove for hours that night, not knowing where I was going. Just me, the sound of the tires, and her words replaying in my head. "I love what we used to be." It's strange how final words can sound so gentle. No shouting, no slammed doors, just quiet finality. I stopped at a rest area past the state line and stared at the empty passenger seat, the same seat she once filled with laughter, half-eaten fries, and her favorite perfume. Now it was just empty air and silence. For the first few days, I stayed in a cheap motel at the edge of town. I told no one, not my brother, not my friends, Not even my parents. It wasn't shame. It was exhaustion. You reach a point where explaining yourself feels heavier than the silence. A week later, she texted. We should talk. I didn't reply. What was left to say? I'd spent years trying to talk, trying to reach her. She spent those same years looking right past me. Some words arrive. Too late to matter. 2 days later, another message. I didn't mean to hurt you. I stared at it for a long time. My thumb hovered over the screen, ready to type something, anything. But what do you say to that? You didn't mean to, but you did. Anyway, I locked the phone and set it face down. In the days that followed, I started rediscovering small, quiet things. The smell of coffee, the sound of rain, the way sunlight hits the window when you don't have anywhere to rush. It felt like meeting forgotten parts of myself again. People describe heartbreak like an explosion. It's not. It's erosion, slow, silent, and unseen until there's nothing left. I'd been eroding for years, convincing myself it was normal, that marriage was about endurance, that love fades and we just learn to live with less of it. But that sentence, I love what we used to be made me see the truth. I'd been in love with a memory, not a person. The woman sitting across from me that night wasn't the one I married. She'd changed, and maybe I had, too. We just never admitted it. 3 months passed before I returned to the house, not to see her, just to pick up the last few boxes. She was there, standing in the doorway, smaller somehow, like she hadn't slept in weeks. She tried to smile. You look good, Ethan. Thanks, I said. You too. It wasn't true. Her eyes had lost their light, her voice its ease. She asked if we could get coffee for closure, she said. I agreed. We met at the same cafe where we'd had our first date 12 years earlier. It felt almost poetic. She looked at her cup, then at me. I didn't think you'd actually leave, she said softly. I didn't either, I admitted. But there's a difference between loving someone and living in the shadow of who they used to be. Her eyes filled with tears, and for a second I saw the woman I once knew, the warmth, the spark, but it faded just as fast. I'm sorry, Ethan, she whispered. I nodded. I know. There was no anger left, only acceptance. Because sometimes the kindest thing a man can do is stop trying to fix what no longer wants to be healed. When I left the cafe, she stayed seated, staring at the untouched cup before her. I didn't look back, not out of coldness, but because I finally understood. Love doesn't always end with hate. Sometimes it simply runs its course until two people become strangers again. That night, I went home, my new home, a small apartment by the river. And for the first time in years, I slept without waiting for a message, without replaying arguments, without wondering what I could have changed. Peace doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. And when it finally found me, it sounded like the quiet click of a door closing softly behind me.